That's what you do. You buy these clothes that cost me and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on, with a smile on his face.
They just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, to the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without the truth. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first two episodes, the second series.
We are on the site of the castle,
and it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
Hi everybody, you okay? Monday? No, it's not, it's Tuesday. Losing me days, you know. But anyway, it's the first pod and the last one tonight until next week. You know, I decided to have one today simply because all this baloney about who we're going to get, you know, again, the rumours, and we'll end up with nobody, as you know, and the war chest that's coming out. But anyway, also I have George on tonight. I've got Dino, he's waiting there, but I just want to say a couple of things first, and it's these wonderful people who sponsor the Frank Carlyle show, and that's Got Painting Services. Listen, don't struggle, please don't struggle painting, decorating, whatever. I broke my neck, remember, when I was doing my own. I always done my own decorating when I had black hair, to be honest. So it changes over time. And just don't struggle with it. Whether you're outside, you know, painting your sills, seeing that it's spring, get these lads in. The proper lads, the fully time served, the fully insured, the fully everything. The brilliant lads, get them in. Don't struggle. If you're an old age pensioner, I hate saying that. If you're an elderly, get them in. Do not struggle. Just get them in. And you get a discount, a great discount. If you work for the NHS, absolutely brilliant. Get them in because you get a special discount. But if you're not in those categories, you're still very reasonable prices. That's all I'm saying. Do not struggle. Get these lads in. Just get them in. And as you know, I support all the likes of small businesses. That is, the likes of these lots. That scarf or a badge. Great people, Michelle and Mike Dean. They're open for 2 hours every single home game, and you really need to get into them. They're all wonderful, quality stuff. I've bought some stuff out of it, and as I said, I support our local businesses, small local businesses. So get into them. Really nice people, and you can get them online. There it is, there at scarforabadge.com. Just get them in. Get them in online, that is, and see what they've got. Or better still, go to the shop when they're open and feel the quality. Really good stuff. So that's that, Scarf and Badge, and the sponsors of my show, Gap Painting Services. really fine fellows. I'll just go through. Nunes is, what's that, poi? I don't know what that, poison? I don't know what it means there. But anyway, from what I've heard, Frimpong and Kirkers are certainties. Right, okay. That's fine, honestly. That's fine. Hello, Zadel, says Edward. Hey, Edward. Not hello, Frank. The Anfield, oh, good evening, you mighty Reds. Look at all those bevies and thumbs up. Excellent stuff. And there are, hello, Frankie. Hope you're well, lad. Depends. Depends, it all, honestly. Even if Frank says the lovely Lynn Ellis. Hiya, Lynn. Scottish face, lovely. Good evening, Frank and chat. Lovely to hear from you, Bear. Really, really is. Not many, they're all talking to one another, so I'll leave that. Not many players have loyalty in today's game, says the Redbird. We'll be talking about that. That's a foregone conclusion. And Snapey says, evening rednecks, one and all. At last, it's time to talk football. Let's interact with one another. Greetings, Copite sisters and brothers. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a cracking little comment. It's me, Daryl. Frank, text you earlier. I've been busy in hospitals and doctors and chemists and everywhere, you know. I've never even done any shopping. I'll have to lose some weight. That's one thing for sure. Bill Clopper statue. Good evening, Frank. How's it going? Don't ask. Don't ask. And he says, Klopp's warning to Coutinho 2017, stay here and they will end up building a statue in your honour. Go somewhere else, to Barca, to Bayern, to Real, and you will be just another player. Very good shout. Very good shout. I'm going to bring in now Dino. Is George with us? There he is. I've got to bring George. Sorry, Dino. I've got to bring in this fine man, our legend, George Scott. Be interesting to see what Dino and George has to say about the news coming out of Anfield. Or is it just paper talk? There's the legend himself, Mr. Scott. Hey, George.
Hi, Frank. Hi, boys and girls in the chat. Good to be here. Good to be here back in front of you, Frank. Nice to see you. Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm going to bring Dino in right away now.
Good man.
Because he's been sitting there like a naughty schoolboy waiting to say, shout and everything else to see what's going on. And there he is. There's Dino. How you doing?
He's all right. He's all right.
Hi,
Yeah,
Dino.
we're all
nice
good.
Nice
we're all good.
You.
So listen, seeing that you were sitting there since 4 o'clock this afternoon, Dino, because I've seen you, I'm going to ask you, what's all this about Trent and Madrid?
It seems like it's all done and dusted, doesn't it? I mean, it seems like everyone's running with the story now, so the only thing now is for it to come out officially from the club. But yeah, I think it's bad timing for us, to be honest with you. I don't like the timing of it, especially when we're going into a big derby game, next week and that, and I just it's not good, to be fair.
I'm sorry, go ahead, George. What's your take on it?
Well, I think it's no surprise to me because it looks to me like this has been going on for a long time. It was going to be pretty inevitable that he was going to leave Liverpool for Madrid, I'm like somebody said before, there's no loyalty in the game these days, I'm afraid. It's a completely changed game from my day. In my day, the club owned you. Now the players own the club. So they can decide when they go, when their contract finishes. To be fair to Trent in one way, he's served the club fantastic since he came into it as a kid. He's won every trophy that you can imagine. He's played to his contract, but I agree with what Dean said. It's bad timing. It's not good timing for the club really to come out like this. The whole thing's a bit of a mess, I think. I wish him good luck personally because he's 26. If he wants to do that, go to Madrid and test what he wants. Up to him, fair enough. But the grass, I've always said, the grass is always greener overseas. There's nowhere like Liverpool for me. And the game now seems to me to be all about money. It's money all the time. Everything's money. He's going to get paid a 5-year contract, apparently, £250,000 a week for 5 years, plus what they deem to be a reasonable transfer fee. I know they don't have to pay a transfer fee, but they pay the money to Trent. So he's gone off with untold millions. And if that's what he wants, if that's what motivates him, fair enough. Although I do think he probably wants to test himself. When Madrid come calling, it's hard to turn them down. He's the least of the three, I think, to be honest, of Salah and because Trent, for all he's gifted as an attacking player. We all know that, probably the best in the world. His defensive side isn't 100%. And if you look at young Bradley, I think we've got a good deputy there. I'm happy with that, and we'll probably sign people as well. Come on to that later, perhaps. But, I'm disappointed that he's leaving, definitely, Frank. The boy's been with us a long time. He's part of the furniture, and he's shared in all our triumphs in the last 9 years. And it's a bit heartbreaking for a lot of the fans. I hope the fans don't turn on him. I hope they support him right through to the end of the season, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, but the point is, George, the fans like myself, he's come through the ranks.
Yeah.
And it's the very similar to, if you remember, well, of course you remember, when McManaman left. And he ran down his contract. And I thought, hang on a minute, that's mean. That's a mean thing. And it's Real Madrid. Trent's only said a few years ago that his dream, he wanted to be Liverpool captain. That's his dream.
That's right.
Well, what's happened to his dream? And I think that the likes of Jude Bellingham has been tapping them up.
Absolutely.
I really believe that.
For a long time.
I really believe that. I'm very disappointed in him to say that he's actually going.
Yeah.
Hoping that he wouldn't go. And we sorely missed him in the final against Newcastle. We sorely missed him. His range of balls and passing and his work rate with Mo is incredible.
Yeah.
If you look at Mo and the assists and the goals he scored, how many of those assists came to Mo? Mo?
Huge. Yeah, huge, Frank. Huge. Yeah, it's disappointing. I think Liverpool fans will be really disappointed in this, in the way he's run his contract down. That's the biggest thing for me. He's going on a free, and the club's going to get no money for him at all. That's culpable on behalf of the club, and it's not very nice on behalf of Trent to do that to Liverpool. It's money, I'm afraid. I'm a bit of a cynic about the game these days in that sense.
I don't know. Do you know what, lads? I can hardly hear you, I don't know what's wrong. I can hardly hear you. I've sent a message to Jason. I can hardly hear what you're saying.
Hey, Frank, it's a bit I couldn't throw these across the screen. I've got hearing aids in here. If I could throw the hearing aids to you.
So I've got these, and
I'm not wearing them, by the way.
I can't wear them either.
No, I'm not wearing them.
Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly.
What?
Okay. I'll just wait for Jason to get back to me, or I'll have to ring him. That's one of the things. I might have to ring him. He mightn't have seen me message.
I could hear
because
Dean.
It's very difficult. I'll just go through a few messages. And even in Georgia, Mr. O says Snapey.
Hi, Snapey.
Yeah, look at that. The Anfield Road. I'll never forget you, boys. Look at that.
There's
Look
the
at all
beer.
them bevies. Evening, Dino and George. And Darwin the GOAT. Let him leave. He will learn how the Madrid fans will treat him when he makes defensive mistakes like he does here. That's another thing, isn't it, to be honest? The Liverpool videos, if he wants to leave, then so be it. He just needs to realise he'll be tainting his legacy. And that's the truth.
Afraid so.
Unfortunately, you're right. I think McManaman, I don't think anyone's ever got over him the way he left. And that's just me, you know. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying you lads agree with that, but he tainted his legacy. Stevie McManaman was great for us, just like Trent. Don't forget, these kids come up right through from the ranks. Everybody today still talks about, still talks about that corner. They still talk about that corner to Origi in the semi-final against Barca. They still talk about it. Like they talk about everything else, you know.
Yeah.
But that's one of the main things about Trent. That pass, that corner, incredible. And that could just dissipate into thin air, to be honest. It's, I don't know. I don't believe.
Don't understand why anybody would.
I'll leave you with this because I'm sorry, I'll have to phone Jason up. I'll leave you. But I'll leave you with this between the two of you. If Virgil and Mo and the other fella, Trent, he's going, what if they leave? How's that going to affect Liverpool? Not this season, but for next season. But also it could affect them in the back end of this season. Discuss that, boys, please. I'll just phone Jason up.
Yeah, I don't know what you think, Dino, but go on, you carry on, Dino. I'll let you say.
You know what, I was speaking about this the other day, and I think actually that might be the club's preferred choice. I think the club might feel like they want to rebuild, start again from the ground or upwards. I think because of the contract situation and the money that they're on, I think if them three were, well, obviously Trent's gone, but I think if the other two were to follow suit and leave, I think it gives the club a bit more wriggle room with contracts and negotiations with any possible incoming players. I think they want to build a new spine, a younger spine, and start planning for the future, because whether Mo and Virgil sign anyway, it's only going to be short-term basis anyway. So I think the club are probably looking to the future right now and thinking about getting younger players in and just rebuilding, just as Shanks and Paisley were never afraid to do, start from scratch and go again. Yeah.
I think in one way you're right there. I think they're looking also, and I think everybody should look at this. Salah's been incredible this year. Well, he has been every year, and he's but this year he's been outstanding. He'll never have a better season. And FSG have got this thing, whether it's right or wrong, that they don't give extended contracts to players over the age of 30. To me, Salah's a huge exception, and Van Dijk. But at the end of the day, this is not my view. This is where they'll be looking at. They'll be looking at, will he repeat what he's done this year, next year? They might be looking at the last two performances, which were a little bit below par, which is unfair because he's in Ramadan at the moment. He's not eating properly. And there were tough games and he got no support from MD in the team. But cynical businessmen that they are, I have a feeling this is what they're looking at. Because I've heard that it's not the money with them two, with Van Dijk and Salah. It's the length of the contracts. I think that's where the debating thing is. They want either a year with a year's option or 2 years with a year's option, and even on the same money. And the club that's where they're sticking in at. So we'll see what happens. I hope they stay, both of them, because we really can't afford to lose Van Dijk and Salah really for the next season. We need to keep. Otherwise, you're looking at. I agree with what you said before as well about building a new slot team, shall we say. But for that, they need money, and they will release a lot of money from if the boys do go. But I hope they stay. I really hope they stay. Dino, I don't know about you.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the bigger worry for me is Virgil. I think because Virgil's such a leader, and I think the likes of Canate rely on Virgil because when Canate plays and Virgil's not there, Canate's not the same player because he's not a leader, he's a follower. And I think leadership is one of the biggest problems that Liverpool will have. There'll be a lack of leadership there if Virgil and Mo Salah go. I mean, Mo's a leader in how we on the pitch.
Yeah,
I mean,
and he is.
Okay. Virgil's a talker. He commands respect of the players around him. I think Mo's more a leader in terms of what he does with the ball at his feet. But
yeah, and I think both of them can play a long time, can't they? Both of them are fit. I mean, Van Dijk should be able to play another 3 or 4 years at least because he doesn't run a lot. He's measured in his running and he takes pauses in the game and he's a brilliant distributor of the ball. And Salah works a lot harder, but he's superbly fit. So that's a dilemma, I think, the length of the contract that they're looking at. That's what I think is holding things up. I think they both want to sign. They both want to sign, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, there is going to come a point where Mo completely falls off a cliff and the club are obviously worried about paying him money.
Yeah, and then 350,000 a week.
Yeah, and then his form just dips and he falls, and then you're paying him millions of pounds for no production.
Yeah, they're cynical businessmen. They're not like fans. They haven't got the heart of the fans. All they're interested in looking at is the return on the investment. Yeah, that's all they're interested in. Always, ever. All the owners, including FSG, they're not really football people.
Yeah. You know yourself, George, with regards to Trent, how do you look at it? Because obviously you sat on the other divide, you've been a player and you've been involved in transfers yourself. So obviously your point of view is going to be a lot different to the likes of mine and Frank's. How do you see it from a footballer's point of view, and how do you see it from a fan's point of view?
Well, I think the fans are passionate. They lead with the heart. The fans. The players are more sort of, looking at it from the inside of the club and from the atmosphere within the club. It's different in my day than it is now, Dean. That's the problem. In my day, of course, at the end of your contract, they kicked you out, or they kept you, or they put you in a transfer list. You had no choice, and they usually were 1-year contracts, maximum 2. Where now, if I was playing today, I can understand from the players' point of view. Frank mentions a few times about agents, and he's right. They've got a huge input into this financially, but the players want. One thing I'll say is that the players, even if Trent gets in the team in the next few weeks, if he gets back and fit between now and the end of the season, he'll give 100%. Players don't not give 100%, so they want to play and they want to play at the highest level. But the money's come into the game now is unbelievable. I mean, you can't imagine a guy at 26 who will never have to work again, never. He'll be living in a life of luxury for the rest of his life, and not just Trent, a lot of them. Anybody in the Premier League. So it colours everything, doesn't it? It colours. Yeah. It colours you. It's not the same like when Shankly was in charge. It was passion, playing for the fans, playing for the shirt, playing for the love of the game, getting these guys from the factory floor into Anfield on a Saturday, cheering the boys, And we've come through, Frank and I, from those days, right through all the great Liverpool teams and the Cop and the Wonder and everything like that. Well, that's all. It's corporate now. You got all these corporate people in there with their cameras, Chinese, and I mean, okay, we need foreign fans, and I love them. Australian, Thailand, and the money comes from the shirts and all the rest. But the game, as you can tell, the way I'm speaking, is completely different. In my day, Ian St. John and Roger Hunt were superstars, but really only in England. Very few people in, like now you can talk about Steve Gerrard in Borneo, in the middle of the jungle, and they'll know who he is. It's all over the world, isn't it? It's a world game. And that's Trent's in that atmosphere now. Real Madrid have got this wonderful reputation, winning European Cups, turn people's heads, But you're right what Frank said before about, now wasn't Frank, one of the chat about the fans. The fans turn on you quite quick over there. It's success or anything. If you don't get success, you're very soon yesterday's man. Remember Gareth Bale? Yeah.
I mean, myself personally, I think you can see already that there's a split amongst the fans. I mean, you've got the fans who want to wash their hands off him, and there's, the ones who want to wish him well. I think for me personally, I think this idea that Liverpool Football Club should be grateful to Trent, I'm personally, I don't believe in that. I believe that it should be the other way around, because if it weren't for Liverpool Football Club, you know, they've invested a lot of time in Trent and in his family. They've invested in coaching, nurturing, and they've given him the platform to become Trent Alexander-Arnold, as we know. And then you've also got the side of the club helping his brother out to become an agent and stuff. And I think as soon now his brother's become an agent, and now he's got his first big deal on the cards, which is, you know, let his brother negotiate with Real Madrid. So I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bit let down by it all, to be honest. But
I can understand that.
That's because, you know, coming from the city, in my eyes, there's no club bigger than Liverpool Football Club, and I include Real Madrid in that. They're not bigger than Liverpool to me.
Absolutely. Here. I agree. And at the end of the day, you know, you're right. You're absolutely spot on what you're saying there. He does owe the club everything, really. Okay, the club owe his talent. He's expressed his talent at Anfield. But if it wasn't for Anfield, it wasn't for the coaching at the Kirby Academy, if it wasn't for the opportunities he's been given, you know, he wouldn't be in the position he's in now. And he'll probably say, if he was talking to me now, he'd probably say, look, I've given 16 years to Liverpool. I've given the last 9 years winning every trophy. As Frank, I've given all these balls into the centre for the goals. I've done everything. What more do you want? Blood? You know, that's the type of thing a cynical player would say. But I don't think Trent's cynical. But I think he's had his head turned by Madrid and by his mate in the England team. And, you know, and not much we can do about it now, Dino. I think the deal's been done. We have to live with it. But you're right, as a split between the fans, I hate to see him be, you know, shouted at and all sorts, but it will happen. That's what happens in the modern game.
Yeah, it will happen. It will definitely happen. I mean, and, you know, it is sad to see. But I think the thing is that, you know, when footballers are interviewed, fans don't forget what they say. And it was only 2 years ago we were talking about he can't see himself playing for another team. It's only Liverpool he's ever wanted to play for. And now 2 years later, it's like, well, what changed? What's happened for you now to demand? You know what I mean? He said, if Real Madrid come in for me, they can buy me on FIFA and stuff like this. And, you know, as fans, you know, we don't forget that kind of stuff. So it's like your words are being hollow. They haven't meant anything.
Yeah. I kind of think his head was. I kind of think he was affected quite badly by Jurgen leaving as well. He seemed to take that a bit harder than some of the other players. I watched when Jurgen played his last game. He was in tears, you know, and he'd seen Jurgen had mentored him from coming into the team and, you know, coming through winning all them trophies and everything. So I think that was a bit of a shock for him. But he's got plenty of time to get over that. We've had such a phenomenal season this year, you know, on the slot that he should have been. That should be well out of his mind. So I just think it's really the opportunity to go to Madrid and the money.
He's got like a blue one. Keep that out.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I thought the way Trent that he was going last summer, because he looked to me like a player who thought he played his last game.
Yeah,
I got the emotion of it all, you know, with Jurgen going, but I mean, like, he genuinely looked like he was saying goodbye, and you know, a few of the lads around by me in the ground, we were all saying it looks like Trent's off.
Yeah, there was something a few months ago. Do you remember that game he had when he wasn't trying? He just didn't look like he was bothered. It was one game. He got dragged off, I think, at the end. He just looked out of sorts. Something must have happened that week. I think something must have happened with either the negotiations or I don't know what it was, because it was right out of character. And the next game he came back and he got stuck in again, but it was something happened in that one game. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know, really, to be honest. The club are always pretty guarded about what they say. Trent's saying nothing, but it looks like it's a done deal, definitely. It's been on Sky TV today. They wouldn't put it on like that, the way main news, if something wasn't happening. They haven't got a picture of him with the jersey yet, but that'll come at the end of the year. Don't forget, we've got 9 games left yet. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
We've got a Premier League to win. That's all I'm interested in at the moment. I mean, whatever happened in Wembley, that's history now. It's gone behind us. They were a disgrace to the fans that day, without any doubt. My grandsons were down there, you know, you were down there, my son, and it was poor, and that's being kind. So, but that's behind us now. And the PSG game was a little bit, could have went either way, in my view. That could have went either way. We were a width of a post away from winning that. And also with Salah's missing the first. So I'm not taking too much out all this rubbish about PSG were so much better than us. Yes, they were over there, but not at Anfield. So that's behind us. All I want, same as you, Dean, I want us to win the league. We've got to win the league. That's it. It's non-negotiable as far as I'm concerned. We're 12 points ahead. There's no way we can lose this league and now have a bloody big parade at the end of the year, because that's what all our boys are looking forward to.
No, that's what it's all about, and that's, you know, hopefully we're going to all get to example that come May. But I don't subscribe to this notion that we've already won the league. I don't like it when I see people, you know, just totally saying that the league's done and dusted. It's not. No. We've still got to go out. We've still got to earn the right to win those remaining games.
Yeah, it's not done and dusted until it's impossible. Not, you know, until Arsenal can't get the same points as us physically. That's when I'll be jumping them down. Until then, we've got games to win. Starting next week against Everton, that's a big game, you know, and we've got to beat them this time. No more last-minute goals. No more referees rubbish. We've got to beat them fair and square. We're a better team. We're higher
they'd love nothing more than to put a spanner in the works. You know, they're going to be given absolutely everything they've got to make sure that they, you know, that they beat us and they start planting seeds of doubt. And because, I mean, we've lost in Europe. We lost in the League Cup final. Obviously, we lost in the FA Cup a few months ago. You know, we were talking about the media were talking about a quadruple.
Yeah.
And then down to a treble, a double, and now, you know, we've only got the league now to focus on, which I know it's, you know, winning the league is, for me, that's the first trophy, that's the main trophy that I want to win every year. You know what I mean? Everything else is like a nice bonus, but I think if we were to lose against Everton, I think seeds of doubt will start creeping into the back of the players' minds, and it would be like, you know, we'll be limping over the line, and you don't want that. You want to have. I couldn't hack it getting to the Arsenal game with them only being 3 points behind us. I think.
Yeah, I don't think my TikTok would handle that, to be honest. I agree with everything you said there, 100%, because, you know, we just got to win this and win it convincingly, just like we've done all season. I mean, Everton, how many points are they behind us? About 30 points behind us or something? There's no way they should be on the same pitch. So we've got to prove that on Wednesday. The boys have got to be up for it and cover every blade of grass and get back in form again. Shut all these doubters up. Because there's plenty of them waiting for Liverpool to slip. I can tell you that. 100%. Plenty of them. You read it every day, don't you, online? You can see all the comments, you know. People are even saying, oh, when you won it in the COVID year, it was a no-crowd Premier League. It didn't mean all this nonsense, you know. You see. Yeah. So we've got to start off by beating Everton, and then we're on the road then. You okay, Frank?
Oh, blimey, it's shocking, because when I got my sound back on, I can hear you, you know, I was made up, sat down, then all of a sudden the picture went off. I couldn't see it. And then I had to phone Jason back again, you know. It's just
modern technology, eh?
Yeah, well, this is it. And my IT skills are absolutely zero, or -0.
Good to see you back.
So anyway, I'm back to normal, thank God, you know. And thanks for holding the fort. Can I go through some comments by the lads here? I'll start up here, but the Anfield, my point is, on this Trent saga is simple. He is leaving a team that's winning the league and trophies and decides to leave. He did an interview in October 24 and said, Ballon d'Or is the dream.
You won't get that. You won't win that.
And you said, you reckon Real Madrid were in Trent's ear 2 years ago and told him to run his contract down? Someone else, I said about that, Bellingham. When Liverpool went in for Bellingham, and we should have got him, you know, we wanted to come to Liverpool. That would have been ideal, but we never got him. He went to Real Madrid. He's his best mate, and he's in his ear. It's a simple. 100%. And Youssef, I despise everything about that club. I think a lot of people do, to be honest. And the videos, leaving on a free is unforgivable. I say that. They're my sentiments right away.
Yeah, and mine.
We've just rolled over to Madrid without a fight and get what he's worth, which is at least 75 million. At least we have some money to invest. We wouldn't have invested it anyway. But remember when I said, George, I don't know whether you were with us at the time, Dino, I said Liverpool will give contracts to the three of them. This is like at the beginning of the season because they won't let them go on a free. Now, the way I see it now is that one or two things. Trent has gone, there's no way I'm signing a contract. Real Madrid mightn't come in for me for the price they'll ask, right? That's one. The second thing is someone is like that on the back, pushing. And they're pushing, in my opinion, not just Trent, but also the other two lads, big money earners. And the frighteningest thing is, if they're like pushing these lads out, the big money earners, who are they going to bring in? That's the point. Now, we know that FSG, the owners, do not spend big. They don't spend big. All that spin about Casino, I said at the time, this is spin, don't believe it. All the spin about them selling the club, I said, it's all spin, don't believe it, because in the February they'll turn around and say, no, we're not selling now. I said that because they knew that the January window was about to open in the January, in November, so they wouldn't have to fork out money. And that's the way these people are. That's in my opinion. Not just my opinion, but other people's too. So Trent, one of the lads said before, his legacy could be tarnished. And I believe he will, to be honest. I believe it will be tarnished. I don't know about you. I know
inevitably it will be dismissed,
to be honest, because unfortunately, I've just gone right down to the latest comments. I'm sorry about this, boys. My fault entirely, and I apologise to the lads. Let's see what Snapey says. Arsenal will drop more points in the run-in. Daft as this sounds, a couple of fortuitous victories might inject some impetus in the last few games. That's a good point. I don't know whether he has mentioned, really, we have mentioned it. You know, we were made up that Arsenal were dropping points. Absolutely delighted that Manchester City were having terrible problems too. But just imagine if those two clubs would have fulfilled their potential this season in the league. That's where we became fortuitous, to be honest. What do you think?
Well, we've still only lost one game this season, haven't we? So we'd have still been up there, even if they had, we'd still be leading the league.
But just imagine if we're only 4 points clear with all this shenanigans going on. Don't forget, George and Dino, these lads who are playing for Liverpool, I watched that, when they go training and things like that. The camaraderie is absolutely amazing.
It is.
They love each other. They love each other. And if those two go, the likes of Mo, the likes of the Verge and Trent, and someone else, it's not worth me staying here. And, they're looking at somebody else. They must know who they're looking at to bring in. And forget Kirkers. I don't think we'll get him, to be honest. I really don't. And all these other, I think we'll go after a lot more Dutch players. I don't know. Maybe wrong or maybe right. I just don't know.
I think I disagree with you on one side, Frank. I think we will go for Kirkers. We need a left back. Because Robert's coming towards the end of his tenure. He's still a great player in my view, but he's not the player he was 2 years ago. So we need a left back. And Kirkers at the moment seems to me to fit the bill. And if Liverpool are serious about maintaining what they've done this year, next year, they've got to get him. Or somebody similar or better. And if they don't do that, they won't survive and they won't go forward. You're right what you say. We need to get players of... It's very difficult to get a player of a similar stature to Van Dijk or Salah. They don't exist. They don't exist the way they played this season, but they might not. Salah might not be the same player in 2 years. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, what do you think of this comment here? and it's from the videos, Liverpool videos, and he says, Michael Owen, quote, Trent is already a club legend. He has won everything with the club. Now he has to do what's best for him. You only get one career, unquote. What do you think of that quote by him?
I think Michael Owen needs to stop commenting on anything that relates to Liverpool. Michael Owen lost that chance when he decided to sign for Man United. Regardless of Michael Owen signing for Real Madrid, that's fine. But when he signed for Man United, he lost all the respect of every Liverpool supporter. So I have no interest in what Michael Owen's got to say.
Yeah. He's not talking with the heart of a Liverpool fan. He's talking with the heart of somebody who's in for himself.
He isn't. And that's my point. But that came out from the Liverpool videos, and I think it's a very good comment he's put in, because Michael Owen, albeit that he had it's his final in 2001, we can't take that away from him.
No, you can't. I was there. You can't. It was amazing.
But all of the respect, his legacy at Liverpool Football Club disappeared, as Dino said, once he signed on the dotted line for Manchester United and Ferguson. Yeah. That ruins it for me, anyway. And Darryl says, well, where's he got this mad name? Why did he just put Darryl?
Nunes is
Poit, yeah. Bit French like, but whatever Poit means. Anyway, KKS is done, Frank. I don't believe anything like that anymore until they're sitting at Anfield or up at AXA and signing on the dotted line, then holding up in their shirt.
Yeah, you're right to be cynical, Frank. You're right to be cynical, but I'm pretty sure he'll sign him.
And it's the Scottish Bear. Steve McManaman is not a legend. It was the manner he ran his contract down also. Yes, I totally agree with you, Scottish.
I slightly disagree on McManaman, though, Frank.
What?
I slightly disagree on McManaman because, McManaman was my hero when I was a kid growing up. You know, I modelled myself on him and at the air and everything. And, I think that different times the club's now in a total different trajectory than what it was at the time. You know what I mean? We were in the doldrums. We were in the middle. We were in the midst of we were going almost approaching a decade without winning the league. You know, we were just Gerard Houllier had just taken over as manager from Roy Evans as the joint venture had failed. So the club was in a bit of chaos at the club at the time, and I think McManaman was approaching 27, 28, and Liverpool were years away from challenging back then. So I think at the time McManaman was probably right to assess his options and leave Liverpool. But I think it's different with Trent. I mean, he's at the club's win. He's won everything, and he's going to win more this season. I think
to be honest, it's the same. It's the same scenario, mate. You can't get away from that. Stevie McManaman. I love Stevie McManaman, by the way. Scores 2 of the greatest goals. One against Arsenal down there, when he was, brilliant. One against the Hoops, and at Celtic Park, when he went from there off, we went right through, bang, goal. One of the great goals. Point is, he ran it down. He ran his contract down. He wouldn't sign a contract. So it's the same scenario as Trent.
But there was a lot.
What are you saying about Trent?
I tend to agree with what Dino said there. It's not. I don't think it's quite the same scenario, Frank. I think I agree with Dino said there before. It was a different age of that. It's Trent. I mean, we're winning the league this year. We're right at the top. We've won everything in the last 9 years. When Steve McManaman was there, he did well for Liverpool. He did well at Real Madrid, to be honest. And the player must look after himself to some degree.
He won 6 European Cups with them. I do know that.
That's right. So it's a good move for him. A good move for him at the time.
I do agree with that. But, you can't just say, oh, yeah, well, that's different. That was a different time. That's just me. That's just me, by the way.
Do you remember, though, Frank, Liverpool done McManaman dirty first, though, before McManaman done Liverpool dirty, when the club tried to flog him to Barcelona behind his back. Do you know
Well,
what I
you
mean?
might as well say that with Steven Gerrard then, mightn't you?
Yeah,
With
no.
Chelsea and Real Madrid. Remember Michael Owen?
Yeah.
Remember Michael Owen sitting on the bench and Madrid came in for Gerrard as well, or don't you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
He
Remember.
wanted to play him. What's it Stevie say? Oh, no, I won't go.
Yeah, it's a two-way stretch, loyalty, isn't it? The club needs to be loyal as
Yes,
well.
of course, yeah. If you're showing loyalty, be loyal. You don't come out a couple of weeks ago or whatever it was and say, I want to be Liverpool captain. That's my ambition. You know, will they still show that little thing when he's over talking and you just see the camera going up into Anfield and, you know, it's all lit up. No one there. It was an empty stadium. And he says, when I stepped on the pitch, it was like stepping into heaven. That's what he said. Will that all go?
That's what I was saying.
Will it be the same? Is you the same,
George, Frank.
Real Madrid?
That's what I was saying to George before. I mean, football fans, you know, we have long memories. We remember everything that players say.
Yes.
And it wasn't long ago that Trent was saying that he wanted to finish his career at Liverpool, and it's shown that his words are hollow. And obviously, the club doesn't mean as much to him as he professes it to.
Yeah, that'll be used against him now.
And that for me is unforgivable. You know what I mean? Because he's living our dream. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like every lad in Liverpool, and you know, for the woke generation, I'll have to say girls now as well. Every lad and girl dreams of playing for Liverpool.
Well, there'll be loads of lads and girls idolise Trent, idolise him, like you idolised McManaman. I idolised Dennis Law. We've all got our heroes. We need heroes. Every kid on that cop's got a hero, and it hurts them really bad when the hero lets them down.
Well, just imagine, you mentioned Dennis Law there, George. Just imagine when he left Man United to go to, and to put them down with that goal.
Man City, yeah.
Could you imagine? I wonder what the likes of the Man United fans think of him, or are Man United fans so different from us? Just imagine, just imagine this scenario next season. Trent's playing against us in the Champions League, right? And he scores the winner. If you know, from outside or a free kick, he scores.
I'm throwing paint over his mural.
Oh, it'll be eruptions. Can you imagine? Imagine. Good on. I hope that never happens.
Well, they are. The Anfield Law, he says the club are equally to blame. Players in this modern world know who are hot and who are coming to the end of a cycle. They don't invest or keep us current. These things matter to your modern player. What do you think of that comment from the Anfield Law?
Yeah, clubs are equally to blame, yeah.
And he says here, and Karate will be next. I don't want a scenario where he runs down either. If he doesn't agree this summer, sell him. Don't waste more profit on him. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I agree with that, Frank, because you can't afford we can't afford this to happen again with Kanate. No. They'll have to make a decision on him early in the new season.
Yeah, it happens with a couple of our players, didn't it? Just recently, Ginny Wijnaldum, for example.
Yeah.
Ginny. You know, so the club is to blame. But I've always said that the likes of Hughes and Edwards, they should have sorted this. They were trying to put the blame on the last administration. And don't forget, Trent, he was crying his eyes out on the day Klopp was leaving. Remember
we were just talking about that before, Frank, yeah? We were just mentioning that.
He was crying his eyes out because that was his mentor. And we spoke about this before, haven't we?
Yeah, when you were off, we had a chat about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it had a big effect on him.
Well, I don't know whether you've spoken about this, but you know that we know that he's going now. We know that he's run down his contract or not given any. He could have easily been pushed. No, you're not getting a contract. That's the end of it. what about if the other lads, you know, the likes of Mo and Virgil come out, and I don't think Mo would say why, you know, to be honest. I think it'll be more or less Virgil. What if he turns around and says he wouldn't give us a contract? What if he says that? How would that look on the owners? How would that, you know, was there be a bash?
Yeah, it would be, because I can't see any scenario where they wouldn't offer him a contract. The problem is that the contract, it's agreeable to him. I mean, they probably offer him a contract 1 year or something, 1 year on the same wages, but that wouldn't be acceptable to him, because they're talking about the length of contract. As far as I know, from what I've heard.
It's just so upsetting for me, to be honest.
Frank, it is. We want to be talking about winning the league. We've got to win this league. This is all just a complete distraction to the fans, all this nonsense about the contracts.
But could it affect the players now today?
Of course it could. Of course it could. I hope it doesn't, though. I don't think it will. I think they're well focused on winning this league, every one of them. They've got too much to lose if we didn't win the league. They've got too much.
The Liverpool Jabby says Trent's dream of football is to win the Ballon d'Or. If he stays with us, he could be the face of our team. A right back is not winning a Ballon d'Or in the shadow of Mbappe, Vinny and Jude. Okay, well, the only good news I've got is that Sophia, my granddaughter, has gone off Trent now, and Szoboszlai's a major pin.
Brilliant. See how fickle the fans are, eh?
Have you seen that tweet? And it says the corner that was taken wasn't even taken that quickly.
No.
Who said that?
Thanks to the ball boy.
Oh yeah, only for the ball boy, yeah.
Yeah.
I always remember someone when after the game and I seen the highlights of it, when I got in, I always remember, I don't know who it was. Some commentators said you have to thank the ball boy for that, how quick he was. Never forget that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's not even at the club anymore now, is he?
Well, what do you think about Liam Molyneux? What he says, Trent's legs have got a lot of mileage in his 26-year-old body. Let's concentrate on getting and keeping Bradley fit. I think Bradley's a bit of an injury prone myself. Think about it.
Need him.
We do need him.
I mean, you know, we're all going on about Trent, but there could be a scenario where the club don't want him because he doesn't fit Slot's model. You know, we don't take that into account. You know what I mean? And the club could be looking, you know, with the likes of Virgil and Mo and thinking, well, you know, they're both past the age of 30. Let's start from the ground up and rebuild. And also, I was saying to George before, with the contract,
that's another transition, though.
Yeah, it is.
You go through transitions every bloody season.
Well, it's coming anyway, Frank. Whether we do it now or we do it in 2 years' time, it's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Slot hasn't had a transition, has he? He's only signed one player.
The club might be thinking, well, you've got, you know, a pretty good nucleus and like with your midfield, it's Szoboszlai, McAllister and stuff.
But what if McAllister decides to go?
Well,
you know, what if he says, you know, I'm going. There's no ambition here.
He's got another
ambition of Liverpool Football Club and the owners. We just look at the owners. You know what I mean, for the ambition. It's not the likes of Klopp, never had any ambition. Slot has just come into the side. And, you know, this will prove whether Slot is good or not. I'm being honest, if there's going to be a transition and who he brings in, well, it's not him who's bringing them in. It's the use. He has got no say. You know that he's got no say in the matter, Slot, who he brings in. So it's up to Hughes and it's up to Edwards.
I'd imagine that Slot will have told Hughes the type and the profile of player that he wants. Slot's got to have some kind of say on it, because if he doesn't, then it's like it's just like building a team on FIFA, you know, just getting a load of superstars together. It doesn't work. You've got to have what the manager wants.
Well, let's face it, it's Slot's head on the chopping block. It's Slot's head on the chopping block if it doesn't work. So if he sits back and lets them sign players he doesn't want, or players that don't fit into his style, or as Frank said earlier, a couple of cheap Dutch players, ain't going to work because his neck's on the block next season. Don't forget, you're only as good as your last season. You're only as good as your last game in this game. So we'll win the league. We'll have a big parade, thousands, maybe 1 million people there. It'll be amazing. And then in August, it all starts again. So he'll be judged again. So he's got to be right on the ball in terms of whatever happens with Salah, Van Dijk, and, you know, any transfers. Hughes and Edwards, okay, they're the guys from what Frank said.
That's the nucleus of the side, though, George, isn't it? That those three players you've just mentioned, that's the nucleus of the side.
It is. I'm comforting myself with thinking that, I know we've heard this a lot of times, that people sometimes dismiss it. Nobody's bigger than Liverpool Football Club. Because at the end of the day, we've lost wonderful players before. You know that. We've lost all sorts of wonderful players all the way through the ages. We've always replaced them. I just hope, but unfortunately, we've not always had Hughes and Edwards in charge.
Exactly. I was just going to say, when Keegan left, you know, we just won the European Cup.
Yeah.
He was leaving. This is in 77. He's leaving.
Hamburg. Yeah.
And, you know, we were, even my mates, you know, saying, what are we going to do without Kev?
Money again.
Kevin was a legend within his own right. Kevin Keegan, unbelievable. And then, who do we sign?
King. Yeah.
But, as you said, George, we had Paisley in charge. We had owners who actually said, here's the money, go and buy him 440,000, which was a hell of a lot of money then. And we bought him. But these owners are stingy. I don't care what anyone says. No one can tell me that they've been absolutely brilliant. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry to swear, George. I don't give a two
I'm not a priest, Frank. You're all right.
Say about building a fucking stand. I don't give a toss for that. I really don't. What they say, built a stand and built another stand and built the. No, we didn't. We paid for it. Us, the club. That's who paid for it. I'm still paying for it.
Frank, you need to stop sitting on the fence, mate, and just tell us how you feel.
He always does. Don't worry. The passion comes out of that bloody chest. That's the thing. And then it goes back in again and a big smile comes up.
I've got a great friend of mine coming on, an American, great friend, great Liverpool lad. Sorry about it. And there he is. I think he is anyway. Yeah, I think he's just audio. Brian Fennell is an American.
Oh yeah, I know Brian. Yeah.
He's a lovely fella. He's been over. He stays with me actually when he's been over. So, hiya, Brian.
Hello. How are you?
George. We're all right. How are you?
Oh, doing well, and you?
We're all talking about what's happening with Trent. He's definitely going, unfortunately. So, what's your take on it?
Well, I remember getting the season last night here in your show, I think. So I'm not surprised if he goes. Wishing good luck, Godspeed, and fare thee well. Thanks for the memories. And I mean, I don't understand this. Maybe you can help me. I don't understand this vitriol, this backlash, and this assembling of pitchforks and torches for him because he's going to Real Madrid. Like, well.
But do you think part of his legacy, don't forget there's millions of fans out there, millions, as you know, half of the city's all red, through and through Liverpool supporters have been for years. So do you think some part of his legacy will be severed with him running down his contract?
No. What's the thing, though? I mean, people, as George pointed out earlier, everyone in the cup has their heroes. I think that's like what you said. And and you'll be disappointed, you'll be hurt that he moved on. But you know what? He'll move on. He'll play a few years in Real Madrid. Get his papers straight. Fatten the bank account. He can always come back. The prodigal son returns, and they'll give him captaincy, and he will play. for a year or whatever, and you know, it's a win-win. I mean, it sucks for us because we've lost 20 to 24 assists a season, but you know, what more could he have won here? The only carrot dangling was the captaincy, and Virgil's not going to give it up unless they move him. That's another thing too. I think this was sealed after Klopp left, but also the mishandling of Bellingham. I mean, after the 2 years of saying, well, he's coming, waiting for him, then open the transfer window. Nope, we're not doing it. Yeah, the players talk. And again, I'm speculating if that was my guy coming in here, you know, and we're going to run the town, you know, run the city, run the town, you know, and they just, after 2 years saying, okay, he's gone. Yeah, I'd think twice about staying here. And that number, I don't think they could have offered him enough money to stay. He was gone.
No. Well, I've just got to say this to Dino.
Enough money to stay. You're never going to match the money he's getting from Madrid, plus the signing on fee and all the rest of it he's going to get, you know, not in a million years.
And yeah, exactly, a good point, Ben. The other point is, you know, if Real Madrid wants somebody, they make sure they have a war chest. But if there's someone that they want, they go after them and get them, and they make room on their own squad roster. We don't have that here. We have just paper talk, you know. And a person at the Echo, whose name we won't mention, or another person we won't mention, you know, is like, oh yeah, they're serious. They're doing this. Like you, Frank. Until I see someone holding up their shirt at a press conference, then they ain't coming. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as you know, I've got to tell Dino this about you, Brian. Dino's an agent for FSG. He's a big supporter of Fenway Sports, aren't you?
Oh, Dino. Hi, Dino. By the way, yeah.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Okay, good.
He's a big supporter. Period. Big supporter.
I'm not quite as much of a hater of FSG as Frank, but I'm certainly not fooled by them in any way, shape, or form.
That's a good point, actually. You know, we're all. I'm not saying. We've never once said FSG out. We've got to put this over to the, you know, to
that would be crazy.
We've never once said that, but we have been critical, and we've been critical in a bad, you know, in a good way, shall we say, constructive way, because of the lack of investment on the pitch. We could have done a hell of a lot more if there would have been more investment. And okay. Written now, and we see what's going on, especially over these contracts. And even Konate's a stalwart for us. He's great as Big Ebu. And even the crowds, you know, every time he gets the ball and you know, he's running forward. Great vibration out of the ground. Point is, if he goes, we are in trouble. I'm talking not next season. If he decides to run his contract out, or we sell him next season, it's a big void. Who do you replace them with, Brian?
I don't know. But the footnote, Konate, he's also a China doll. He does get injured a lot. He does miss a lot of games. So is that because of a small squad or overuse? I don't know, but he does get hurt a lot. Who to replace him with? I don't know. I guess you could do two birds, one stone with Gertruda, center back and a right back. But you know, I really don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen much of who they're looking at or anything. So, is Kwanzaa ready? No.
No.
A year maybe.
He's not
another 2 years.
You're talking about Hussein. Is it Hussein at Bournemouth?
Well, I got
so we're reading
told.
Bournemouth then. All right, we're just gonna go on a.
I think he might want Mark Gay from Crystal Palace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's good as well.
Yeah, he's good.
But you know what I got told just before I come on the show? That Real Madrid are looking at that Hussein and also Kekes.
Oh no.
That's what I got told just before I come on.
Interesting. I've not heard that, Frank. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I got told.
I mean, though, I think those players, the likes of Hussein and Kirkes, if they were to go to Real Madrid, I think it'll be clear suicide for themselves personally, because you look at Real Madrid's team now, and there's no way that Kirkes is getting in to play ahead of their left back.
Yeah.
And Hussein's not going to get in, because, you know, who's that young kid who played centre half against us at Anfield for them? I can't remember his name, but he looks a really good prospect, and he's like only a young lad just coming through, so I can't see them fitting into Madrid.
But that's what I was told, and they're not looking at now. They're looking for the future because of their ages.
Yeah, you get all these rumours flying about now and this time of year, won't we? Between now and the end of the season. That bloody international breaks don't help either, because that's when the players talk to each other. They go on these international breaks and you want to swing your lead here and have a word here and we'll get you in there, you know. Pretty horrible. This time of year always happens in March.
I think if Liverpool want Kirkes, they'll get Kirkes. And
They have to, you know.
So Boz likely will help.
Okay, do you think they get Kirkes? I'd love to see him, but you think they get him if Real Madrid comes knocking?
No chance.
Well, this is where Liverpool have to step up. They've got to step up. They want to be champions.
You've got to compete. We have to compete. It's not just you've got to bring in agents with this. I don't know whether you mentioned agents, but you've got to bring in the agents as well, because the agents get a big lump, a big percentage of a transfer deal, or a big wage or anything. So that's the way you've got to look at it. And they're in the ears of these players as well.
And also, regards that Hussein, he plays with the Spanish national team.
Yeah.
He's Dutch, but he plays for Spain. So, I mean, that could have a bearing on it.
Yeah, his father must be Spanish or something.
Yeah, well, Bill Klopp's statue says we would be okay. We have Connor and Kwanzaa who can fill in at right back. Don't forget Calvin Ramsey either. Top talent from Scotland.
Yeah, what happened to him? He came from Aberdeen, didn't he? Has he gone back up to Scotland? Or he was injured for a long time.
What happens?
He's gone back. I think he went back to Scotland.
I remember him playing. I think he was playing in his garden when he first came down to and got injured playing in his garden, and he was out for most of the summer. I don't know whether he's taking up Michael there as build. I don't know. Darryl, Elliott, Jones, Ali, Diaz, all 2 years left. It's concerning, and I found out who is in charge of the contracts, and it's Julian Ward. I've never forgotten Julian Ward.
Oh, shit.
Never forgotten him.
Yep.
I always bring him into the equation when I'm talking about Edwards and Hughes, to be honest. I knew he will leave, says Ali Danus, since last summer. Nothing new for me. A big club will never let players go in their last 6 months unless something happens. And that's our Romanian friend, Ali. It's just Darwin the GOAT. Would you still consider Trent an all-time legend of the club now? He is a legend in his own right. You know, you can't just dismiss. See, what I said before about his legacy and that corner, that put us through to a final to go on and win it, if you know what I mean. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful thing. Point is, that could just dissipate with fans. There is some hard-nosed fans who just say, sod them. And I'm being polite here because of George and Brian.
Sadly, you do that.
You know what I mean? So that's the way it is, I'm afraid. Liam says, you can't blame Hughes for this here. That. Oh, stop it. These contracts should have been signed 2 years ago. That's a joke, isn't it?
He should have been 2 years ago. Negotiations should have started at least 2 years ago. I mean, you know, in a way, he's right. Richard Hughes has only been in the job 5 minutes, and the contract's within its last.
Oh, so you're dismissing when he came in June. You're dismissing.
None of us know what's going on, Frank. None of us know.
No, he came in June. Look, his job is, you know, and Ward, as someone said there, and Ward. I think it was Darryl. So you're dismissing. Listen, do you know? Look, I'm a retired lecturer, and if I went in to take over, say like the Roman Empire, and say I had to talk about Marcus Aurelius, but I didn't talk about it. I spoke about Vespasian when he conquered Britain in AD 43. I was talking about it, and at the end of everything, the semester, and these people were going in for an exam. And they went, we've just got everything on Marcus Aurelius. You never mentioned him. I said, well, never mind, eh? Do you understand? That should have been sorted. He should have, day one, he must have known about contracts. He must have done. So he never sorted anything out. And he still hasn't.
The same people that are reporting that Trent's going have also been reporting that Liverpool have offered Trent contracts and he's turning them down. So, obviously, if Trent's mind's made up, it's made up.
Oh, Trent, yeah. But what about...
Yeah, because he can go whenever he wants in June. That's it. They can run their contracts down if they want. That's their privilege. They've signed the contract, they've played the full contract, they've done everything right. And at the end of the contract, they're free to go.
But as in Virgil actually turns around and said, I want to stay at the club, I love the club. Hasn't he said that? And Mo said it.
He wants to stay at the club. The club are also probably worried because of the age and the money that he's demanding. Because there is going to come a time when Virgil's performance levels aren't going to be at the levels that they are currently in the club.
So you want to see them go?
I can see.
No. Question is, you want to see them go?
I don't want to see them go. I mean, to be fair, if it was to keep anyone, it would be Virgil because of his leadership qualities. I'd worry about a lack of leadership in the team if Virgil goes. I think with Mo, certainly the way Slot sets up is to play to Mo Salah's strengths. So I think we can replace Mo Salah's goals with the signing also, and also with the changing the system.
I think it'd be very hard to replace Salah's goals.
What hasn't changed everything. He's kept a lot of things the way they were, and I think with more signings that Slots gives the green light for, that are like players with the profile of player that he wants, you'll see a totally different Liverpool.
I think they didn't sign anybody this year because these guys thought Liverpool would win the league without signing in. Not at the start, but when they get towards halfway through the season, they're thinking, we don't need to spend any money here. We're leading the league by about 8-9 points, blah, blah. So they've said, yeah, we'll get Shearsett in just to appease the fans. And then, leave it as it is. We're not spending any money, and then I'm hoping that they're thinking in the summer, they will spend money because they'll bloody well have to. They'll have to. Yeah. One way or another, they'll have to. Because they've got other things. Diaz, that's another one that seems to be getting looked at by Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. You've got to talk about Jota being not quite as he was, so there's a lot of thinking that the club at the top level need to do between now and the end of this season. Because this summer is probably Liverpool's most important summer for a while, because they're going to come off the back of a league championship win, and it's going to be expected again. The fans are not going to say, oh, that's great, we've won the league, let's finish below Everton next year. No, they'll want to stay up there, right to the top, won't they? So the club will have to sign players. Self-evident. They've got to sign big players. I know Frank doubts that, and he's quite right to doubt it, but that's what they have to do, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's get on to a few comments. Let's see what Snapey says. A different spin on Trent's issues. My hero came back rushing. Could that be unrealistic with Trent? Or, like me, wouldn't you want him back if a Spanish stream turns sour? Could be another Michael Owen one, couldn't it?
It's never the same. It's never the same when you come back.
No.
It's never the same.
and the Scottish Bear. Virgil has 1 year on his contract when he left Celtic. His agent told him to run his contract down. Virgil said, no, get Celtic a fee or I sign a new contract. There you go. That's what he said. That's going back years ago.
He's ran this one down, hasn't he?
Yeah. No. And the Anfield, your granddaughter could run Liverpool better than FSG puppets. Why have they been so inactive? No media person is pressing anyone at Liverpool on the fact they bought nobody, because it's a little clique, and that little clique is the same people who go into press conferences every time. It's like being handpicked. I've seen that. What's his name? I forget his name. Anyway, he's come out, and I seen him talking the other day, whatever. And he said, Liverpool, this was after the final, by the way. He said, Liverpool have to sort out issues, for, certain positions and whatever for next season. And I sent him a message. I said, well, why don't you say that in press conferences? It's all right telling us this, but when you're in a press conference, no one says anything about certain issues, about certain players who need to come in and certain positions. Don't say anything. Forget his name anyway, who said it. Who I commented on, to be honest. This is murder, this. Cozy False 9, he says, Liverpool born and bred, idol of younger generation, Scouser, has a lot of morals, chance. He said that playing for Liverpool and winning with Liverpool means simply more than for any other club. Has anybody mentioned the morals or anything?
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of that sort of comment. You're definitely going to see a lot of that.
You're bound to. Yeah, you're bound to. You're bound to. I wonder what will happen to his moral.
Who knows?
Will it come down?
It will ever get vandalized.
Would you tear it down? The native son?
No, I wouldn't tear anything down. No.
It won't come down. It shouldn't come down. I mean, what has he done? He's gone.
No, absolutely not.
He's looking out for his financial future. I mean, where's the sin? Really?
I think it will be painted over with someone else, though, to be honest. I think it will. The Anfield FSG model for the club, bringing in money to be self-efficient. Well, transfer-wise, this trend going for no fee is a business model failure, isn't it? They knew this was happening, so they lost money. What did I say at the beginning of the season, George, about these 3 contracts? Here's what I said. I said they will be offered contracts because there's no way this money greedy owners will not want any of them to go on a free transfer to run a contract down. So they'll all be given contracts. I was proved wrong because they haven't up to now.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
That's why I don't like the timing of it, Frank, because we should be focusing on winning the league. And now we're all feeling down and depressed now over this, you know what I mean? This is not the way. That's
what I said before. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said before.
It should never have been announced.
Come on, if we just start the season when we all got sat here, Slot took over. None of us in our wildest dreams thought we'd be leading the league by 12 points. Come on. I certainly didn't. Didn't have a clue of that. And we're getting a little bit of perspective. I'm not talking about this pod. I'm talking about in general in the news. Losing sight of the fact that Liverpool are 12 bloody points clear in the league. Top of the table, man. And all this is getting on in media, trying to bring Liverpool down, trying to stir the pot a bit. Let's get Arsenal back in the race. It'll be more exciting for the media. We can't have Liverpool romping away with it. It's not news, I hate all that, We're Liverpool fans. Greatest club in the world. Come on, we're going to win this league, and then we'll make them all eat the words.
Well, what the media want, George, is another Liverpool-Manchester City fight out.
Yeah, exactly.
Was going on.
You can tell.
You know, we're playing miles ahead of everyone.
It's not our fault.
It's a nothing Premiership. And if Liverpool win it, we won't get the credit, as you know, off the media, by the way, for winning the title. Even
not all the media, but a lot of them.
You know, because they're saying how lucky we are.
Luck?
How lucky we are.
What is luck? No, well, these media clowns, you know, you tell them, well, we did our part. Where's Man City? We're here waiting for them to make up 12 points. I mean, whatever. They just want a horse race so they can,
exactly.
It's not. It's a boat race. I mean, we got jumped out our front, and I'm going to finish it. The reality has been they're only the match. I mean, I was looking at that before I come on the show. The magic number is 5. I mean, you need a combination of our wins and Arsenal non-wins, and that's it. It's a wrap. So,
yes,
barring a complete meltdown, no. Let them say whatever they want to. It's meaningless. Okay, yeah, we'll take the trophy and have a parade. Yeah, okay, sure. This is a meaningless trophy. Great, thanks, no problem. It's give us that gold number and give us that gold badge on the sleeve. Thanks. Okay. They're a bunch of clowns. I mean, half of them. Stenographers too. I mean, they're told to say, and they'll say it to maintain access to whatever club of their choice is. So think nothing of it, Frank.
Yeah.
And George.
Can I just ask the people who are tuning in, if you haven't subscribed or pressed the like, can you do it for us, please, just to get the algorithm out there? And you'll be doing me and the show and the likes of George, the likes of Dino and Brian, a great favour, and all the chat, by the way. Thank you. So anyway, Steve says here, look, FSG allowing Trent to leave and not match his ambitions for trophies should be enough for local fans to start FSG out. But we're not like that, are we?
Yeah, I agree with that.
We're not like that. We criticise. They will replace experienced players with potential cheap 19-year-olds to get a sell-on fee after 2 years, says Christopher.
No. And you know what? There's no again, it's my opinion. Sorry, frankly, you shouldn't have let me on the show. But seriously, if that's the model to replace, every couple of years roll out and throw 19-year-olds in there, then just do it. Stop the gaslighting. Stop pretending, we're going after Isak. Oh, Isak could be on the radar. Oh, this person could be on the radar. Just go get if the person's in the academy, then it's okay. Here's our future, the 19-year-old. Or here's the 19-year-old. And just keep that going. The issue is just the continuous gaslighting. And what else? Like, we could be in for him. We could be in for that. They could be the missing person. No, you're not going to do a damn thing. You're going to put the 19-year-old in. So just say, we got this 19-year-old from the academy. We're ready.
Well, the Anfield Road. Remember when I said a while back that I was told that he's going to, Madrid are interested in him. Hussein says the Anfield Road is a Madrid fan and stated this week he is flattered to be mentioned with such an illustrious club.
And good luck to him.
There you go. Paul Owen, the way we're going, we'll have Frank's mate Chiesa playing at right back next season, says Paul Owen. And the Anfield Road, Kirkes is in our target. I bet you we go for Al Nouri. He is FSG signing all-day contract. All-day contract is running out 2026, so the fee will be a fraction of a hot player like Kirkes.
That's all conjecture.
Agreed.
Everything, even like Kirkes is coming, that's all conjecture. Because I don't trust anybody. I really don't, coming from the club. When was the last war chest we had? Come on, we never had one.
No, the last signings we did was back when we were signing people like McAllister and Szoboszlai and people like that.
Yeah, because we had to do something because there was no one there. And who
Gravenberch,
signed
Szoboszlai,
them? Who
McAllister.
signed them, George? The fella who signed them's gone.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's the last time we had, if you call it a war chest, last time we signed model class players. 3 world class players there for the start.
We've got the likes of Hughes, we've got the likes of Edwards and Ward. They're back. They're back. So I don't know. I'm pissed off, to be honest. I really am.
Yeah, mate.
Mbappe's coming here as a make-weight. Yeah. Steve says Canate being approached by PSG and Madrid to join them this summer.
Where did that come from, Mike? Is that official? Is that official Liverpool? It's all most of this stuff, and which makes the world go round. Sells papers, sells television programs. Like you, Frank, I believe it when the shirt's held up and the name's on and the contract's signed.
That's it.
Otherwise, it's just conjecture. Believe me, I know.
Steve, I nip over and see him at Scottish Bear. Christopher, we will also sign opportunistic crocs that will be cheaper, but not get a game for 6 months type of players. See, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll change the format of this, so let's just change it. I'm not talking about the internationals. I'm really not. I've seen I just one little incident. I've seen what's his name, Jota. It just came on YouTube. Put it on. It was live, and I was sitting there like that, and the ball came over. I think he was getting beat 3-2 or something like that, and the ball came over. And when I've said that some of our players have got hipney bit heads. When they go to weather, it goes over there somewhere instead of going over there. Jota, cracking diving heads, and no one near him. No one near him. Goal open there. And he dived right in front of the goal. I think it was just on the 6-yard box line. And he dives and he heads it. Like that. There. Instead of going that way, he went that way. It's out for the throw in. Does anyone see that? And I just went like that. His form is gone with Liverpool, as you know.
Yeah, he's had a tough few weeks, hasn't he? Tough month.
A very tough few weeks. And, what was people saying as well, which I just laughed. They said, this break will do our players a lot of good, they'll all have rest. They're all playing.
I think they mean from now till next week. They've got all
yeah, 1 week.
A week.
Yeah, it was 7 days.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We just have to see about that.
It'll be interesting to see the reaction to Trent. If he does come and play, if his injury's better and he comes out and it would be very interesting to see with the cops' reaction, wouldn't it?
I think they'll give him a big round of applause, Michelle.
I do as well. I think they will.
I won't be joining in.
And then he'll go, I'm going to stay. I don't want to go to Real Madrid. I love Liverpool. This is like heaven to me, under the lights and that when we're playing Everton.
Yeah.
This is like heaven. But that's Darwin the GOAT. The biggest winner of this whole Trent saga are Canate and Greg. Won't have to cover the whole right-hand side on his own when there's a counter. The only saving grace, but it's what you said, George, before, which I agree with, but to me, he's injury prone, and that's young Bradley's brilliant, but he can't stay fit.
Well, it's just where it goes sometimes. I'm sure he'll be all right. I really do. He's only young.
Yeah.
It's always muscle injuries as well, and that's the concern, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Puts
It's
so
not
much
like
effort in, doesn't he? He puts a lot of effort in.
Well, the Liverpool video says, after today, I appreciate Gerrard and Carragher so much more. They stayed while we were terrible. Thank you for saying that, because, especially Steven Gerrard, my Scousers. Here's to Curtis Jones stepping up now as our only Scouser in the team. Yes.
Yeah, go along with that.
Yeah. Cracking
and he
comment.
deserves more respect as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
think he's great. I think he's absolutely brilliant.
going to go from strength to strength, I think, Curtis.
Yeah.
In the England team as well.
And the Scottish Bear says Liverpool FSG spin tells the fans that the next window is a big one. The fans fall for it every year. The same thing is happening again. Yeah, totally agree with you, Scottish Bear. Totally agree with you, mate, because we get told every year. Do you know how many windows have we haven't bought a player? Forget Chiesa.
3.
There you go. Thank you.
Oh, last season.
It's as simple as that. 3 windows.
The long con. Yep.
It is. And Steve says, cheap broke FSG are dismantling this title-winning squad this summer by moving on Becker, Trent, Virgil, Mo, Canate. They want big earners off the wage bill so they can carry on stealing millions via wages. And the PE, I've never seen the PE lad before. I hope Trent comes out and says FSG didn't match the Real Madrid offer. I think he's on
They're not going to be
200.
able to, are they? Not with the money he's getting. He'll get half that fee. If he's worth 70 million, he'll get 35 million himself.
Yeah.
Not mentioning the wages and all the rest.
Yep. Ali Danus, Trent, Mackie, Nunez, Diaz, Jota, Jones, etc. went down after Klopp left. I don't understand that went down.
Oh, they couldn't have done, could they? Because we're top of the league.
Yeah.
Unless he means play, I don't understand. Don't forget he's Romanian, you know. He might be getting his little.
Does he mean performance-wise?
Yeah, I think he means that, you know, by playing.
Yeah, I still disagree. Only maybe Nunez, we didn't get much return out of him either way. But even so, you know, his production levels are down now because he's not playing even as much as he was under Klopp, and he wasn't really playing much under Klopp, to be fair.
Well, yeah. Brian talks about financial futures, say Snaky. Trent's hardly a pauper when if he stays at home. How much money does he need to be secure?
Totally agree with that. It's one of my pet things. How much money do you need?
Great comment. It's any footballer today.
How much money do they need?
And as the PE says, how many billions do the owners FSG want? The American, I think Brian will tell you what business are like, what these oligarchs are like, what these billionaires are like. The more billions they have, the more they want. That's what they're like.
Yeah.
Well, I think that answers you there. If they like people, it helps Frank's algorithms.
Your man, Redbird.
The way he puts us over there, it's like a sexual thing, isn't it? Oh, figure now. Christopher says, well said, George, we're going to win the league and the press can't handle it.
You can't. You listen every time you watch, every time you read, every commentary, every pundit, desperate for Liverpool to falter.
Right.
Would you agree with that? But mind you, you're over there.
Yeah, I won't see this stuff over here so much.
No. But you'd agree with that, Brian, what we're saying, or what George has said there, that the British press would love to, well, football press, that is, would love to see Liverpool failure.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, one for selfish reasons, because it's a story. I mean, again, walking the league isn't good for them. They have to actually do some journalism, do some research on some other topics or whatever. But yeah, I agree with George wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's more money if it gets to the wire and there's 1 point in it or 2 points in it. It's the last day. That's what they want, really, ideally, obviously.
Right. It's a ratings killer. Otherwise, if you who's to watch? Yeah, watch on what is it? I forget what they call it here, but NBC or Peacock, whatever it calls it, but the Showdown Sunday or Championship Sunday, and all the banners, ruffles, and flourishes, and they go, yeah, you come down to the wire. Here it is. Yeah, okay, it's not reality TV. But you're right, yeah, it's not good for ratings if they walk the league. So,
I mean, with Manchester City and us, there's always been just 1 point in it.
Right.
Yeah, and we should have won it. Two of them should have won the one when Gerrard's team, Aston Villa, threw it away in the last 5 minutes at the Etihad. And we should have won the one when, again at the Etihad, when Salah's shot was a 1/4 inch from crossing the line. That was a difference in a whole season.
Well, absolutely. And, well, that's not clear. FSG, I mean, had they spent on a player or two, that, like 2018, that January swoon, February swoon would have been meaningless. We would have won the league. But anyway, you're right. Just one or two, two matches made a difference.
Fine margins.
Yes.
Well, as Steve says, Trent's mural will be painted over and repainted with FSG faces on it by local FSG fans.
He's on another planet, Steve.
And PE says, by prediction, this Trent will become a legend and FSG will be replaced and forgotten as owners.
He's still a legend, isn't he? No?
He's a legend. He's won everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he broke the 29-year drought. Yeah, I mean, Eamon Robinson, throwing in 20 some odd assists apiece, never been done before. But yeah, and we walked the league. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and being native son, yeah, no brainer. He's a legend. Real stays, should stay. Yeah, I mean, unless he knocks us out of Champions League, like in the semi-final or quarterfinal, then you might have a story that does have some question there. But no, he's a legend.
Yeah, he won the Champions League.
Well, the Anfield Roar says, do you know who leaked this? Only Trent's people would have leaked it. Same as Trent and himself alone manoeuvred this move. Footballer, like pole dancers, moved there to the highest daddy now.
I wouldn't know.
Real Madrid will have leaked it. It's what Real Madrid do best, staring up, isn't it? That's what they do. Marca, their local paper and all that, they like to stay at the pot, don't they? So it would have come from them. And then obviously the rest would have been in contact with Trent's agent, which happens to be his brother. And he'd have obviously, put fuel to the fire.
Yeah, he'd be getting a big cut.
Well, as long as, like Steve says, you won't see him again this season. And Paul, this is Trent, and Paul says to Steve, Trent ain't going to rush back and risk his move to Real.
But the other side to that is he won't want to go out with his last involvement for Liverpool going off injured. So I think he'll be eager to come back and play because I think he'll want a proper send off. He'll want a proper send off, whether he gets one. I mean, the fan base is going to be split. I mean, at the minute, I'm sort of like on the fence. I don't know whether to go and deface his mural or label him as a legend. You know what I mean? And only saying that lightheartedly, but that's just the way I feel. And I don't mean like to offend anyone, but I feel like because we're Scousers and he's a Scouser, he's from the same city and it's our club. I feel like it maybe hurts us a little bit more than it does to fans from outside of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean that with the greatest respect. I mean, I love our foreign fans. I how they bring so much to Liverpool and they add to the colour and the ground and the atmosphere and stuff, and they all learn about our culture and how we support the team and stuff, and so and I mean it with the greatest respect.
No, I appreciate it, Dina. You don't have to qualify it. I mean, it's your opinion, and that's that. And those who get it, and those will ask, and others will ask questions like, "What do you mean, clarify?" No, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, some foreign supporters annoy me too. So,
I think Trent will want to come back. He want to come back and play his heart out. He play his heart out to try and win this Premier League, like the rest of them. Mark my words. If he's fit, he'll be back in the team. He'll be back in the team, and he'll get stuck in.
He might even feel like it's a weight lifted off his shoulders now, and it might even help his performance levels go up even more. He'll have that determination to make sure he goes out on a high.
Okay, here's a question for you then. How would you feel, he comes back, say, for the last 2 matches, or for 2 more matches, whatever, we win the league, and he sits the rest of the season and lets Bradley play? Would you feel bad about that, or would you be okay with that?
I would, yeah. That's a difficult one. That's a real
difficult one, isn't it?
Difficult one. He's earned the right, I suppose, to play and win the Premier League. What he's done for the club in the last 10 years.
Of course.
Sorry for Bradley, really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Of course, he deserves the right.
There's no room for sentiments in football, or you know what I mean. I think whoever's fit enough and whoever's in the best position, health-wise, fitness-wise, should always get the job for me.
Sure.
I think Slot would make sure of that, to be honest, injury-wise. He won't play him if he's not fit.
Yeah, if he's fit, then play him. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like Conor Bradley's a great player, but for me, he's not even in the same league as Trent Alexander-Arnold, and that's why I'm really hurt over him leaving, because I mean, Real Madrid wouldn't just sign anyone. They want to sign the best players in the world for every position. So that's exactly what they're getting with Trent. So Liverpool fans who criticise Trent, you've got to appreciate his talent while he's here.
Right.
Well, that's why we didn't want him to go, to be honest.
Exactly.
Because we do appreciate. I said in the final against Newcastle, I was sick when he was injured, because I said at the time, Trent would have loved the wide open spaces and Mo running down there, and his balls are fantastic. You know what I mean?
There was nobody playing them through balls. There was nobody there playing them balls through.
I said the same to me, lad. I said Newcastle played without fear because they didn't have to worry about anyone with Trent's ability to play balls in behind.
Yeah.
Newcastle didn't have to worry about anything like that. So Newcastle could just concentrate on what they were good at instead of having to worry about what we could do. We didn't have nothing. And Trent not being there was a major reason for why the performance stunk as much as it did, because there was no balance down the right hand side at all.
No,
well, that was my point before, what I was going to make when I said let's change format, because we've got our players playing out and they're all coming back this week, and then start training again. I hope there's no injuries, whatever, right? This is what I'm hoping now, no injuries. But we have been playing woeful. We have. Do you think that we can play any better than what we have been playing since this little break?
I think so, yeah. I think the players will be determined to right a few wrongs, won't they?
A big game on Everton.
They'll evade all the criticism, and they'll evade that the media, what the media are saying about them not being a great side. I think if you're not motivated to prove people wrong and also to win the Premier League, then you're in the wrong game.
Yeah.
And there's no bigger game than a Merseyside derby, you know what I mean?
Especially after the last one. We want to put that right, don't we?
Especially,
and don't forget they're playing. Their players, the Blues, they're playing for their new manager, Moisey.
Yeah.
They're playing for him.
He's not got a great record. He's not got a great record at Anfield.
The Anfield Road. Watch Peter Crouch, and he'll do up front in the summer. Still got it in the legend. And Gerrard is better than Elliott now.
You see him doing the robot. That was funny.
They're proper legends for Liverpool.
That overhead kick. Remember that overhead kick he hit? Goal.
Oh yeah.
One of the greatest goals ever seen into the cup.
He done it a few times. It weren't like a one-off with him. He done it against Galatasaray in the Champions League, and he done it against Bolton in the Premier League.
His leg was as high as a giraffe.
Oh, it was.
It was a giraffe's head.
He just doesn't look like a footballer. You look at him, he just, you look at the archetype of footballer, and he just does not fit the profile of a footballer.
I think he's great, Crouchy. I love this book as well. Great.
Yeah. His personality and all that, you know what I mean? He's a great fella as well, by all accounts, Crouchy. And I think I was made up for him. Like, he said, like, he scored at Anfield again in front of, like, his wife, and his kids got to see him score at Anfield and stuff. So,
brilliant.
Yeah.
He could teach Darwin Núñez a thing or two.
This was nice, does it, at the Anfield? Red Bears, he said, saying to Red Bears, he was brilliant of the finishes. Darwin should dream to have Crouch's touch and finish. He isn't half the finisher Crouchy was about Darwin there. See lovely Abbey, still a rocket and a lovely oak.
A rocket.
That's as great as it. Bring everyone in. Abbey. She is a nice girl, actually. And the Anfield, Christ, if anyone else leaves, we will end up like Northern Irishmen's live. Oh, don't say that. FSG model have come full circle, and it's proven their crap model doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
12 points clear the top of the league.
Well, it does work if you've got the right infrastructure around it. I think we've proven that it works because we won the league, we won Champions League, we've been to European Cup finals. The only thing where they could improve more is when we've been at the top and they haven't cemented our place at the top by having a bit more ambition.
Investing.
We've always said that, Frank.
The word is investing. I've said that all along.
When you're at the top, you hit hard and you build.
Yeah.
Not when you're at the bottom. It's a long way up.
We would have won. Even when I used to have Brian on my show, my radio show, we said, didn't we, Brian, we should invest now. This is after winning the Premiership and also the Champions League.
Yeah.
But it never comes to fruition, does it, Brian?
No, it doesn't. No. I mean, the system, it works in baseball, definitely.
Yeah.
Because you have, bigger rosters, and you have a farm team. You have farm teams who are still active, and the infrastructure is there for that to work. But in football, no one makes trades or no one makes moves like that in the league. So, or in the respective leagues. So, I don't know. It's just at this point, it's just a cost cutter, just to maintain low wages.
Snapey says about this. The media have always subconsciously undermined us. All it does is imbue our sense of tribalism and commitment to our cause. We keep sticking it up them, and they try to conceal infantile bias.
Yeah, you're not far wrong.
Yeah, even when we were winning, Man United were always the media darlings.
Yeah.
Well, I told you, didn't I? I was crossing the Yorkshire Moors in 1978. The day after Liverpool had won, we got lost. I got a lift off these fellas in a van coming up from Wembley. And we were crossing the Yorkshire Moors. And we get to this little shop with lights on. And it was early morning. It was around 5 or something like that. Early morning, 6 o'clock, whatever. And we get there, and these lads are all dressed in the red and white. And the lads said, we only went in for lemonade and, crisps or whatever, because we're starving. And the fella said, where's Wembley, mate? We're on our way to Wembley. He said, oh, you want the cup? You want cup? Last night it's in paper, but here's the crux of it.
It won't cut.
Honestly, we got the Daily Mirror, right? And have a guess what? What's on the back page?
Man United.
Man United and
Yeah, there
Leeds
you go. There
United.
you go.
And Leeds United. Would you
Yeah.
believe it? You know, so we haven't follow it. But anyway, you know, but that's true. That's you know, so it hasn't been going on now. It's been going on for years.
Yeah.
My granddad said the same.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. As long as I can remember.
And
But
maybe
Paul,
the hated spawns from us being so successful over Man United.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think because they love Man United and they try to glorify Man United, and the fact that Liverpool were always pipping them and dominating the English game, I think that sort of like is what spawns a lot of the hate.
Yeah, that's what Fergie said, try and knock us off our perch. That was his big phrase, wasn't it? Then we knocked them off the perch by beating 7-0.
Well, Paul, let me just say these two here. These are good ones here. He's talking to the Anfield. Sky Sports says, Paul, News have just asked Hughes on the beach what he thinks about Trent leaving, and his reply was, Trent, eh? And that's it. Frank and panel, do you think he'll have to come out and say something so he's not remembered negatively?
Yeah, I'm sure he will. He'll have to say something once it's official.
Yeah. What about you, Dino?
Yeah, I'd imagine so, but I think he'd probably wait until maybe the league's sewn up before it. I think the connotations. I think he'd be worried about the connotations of it now coming out now and officially coming out, and I think he'd be worried about a negative reaction. Because while him and his team have not actually released anything themselves, there's still a few that are sitting on the fence hoping that it's just a load of rubbish and it's just Real Madrid being Real Madrid. And I think while there's that little bit of doubt in the minds of people, I don't think he'll be as negatively as received as what he possibly will be if he was to come out and say it himself.
Well, all right, here's something for the three of you. So I'll start with Brian first, then you, George, and then you, Dino. Okay. Brian, if Klopp was still manager at Liverpool, would Trent be going?
Wow, good question. Wow, that's a tough one. I'll say yes.
Okay, all right, George.
Well, I'm stuck a little bit in the fence on this one. I'm not so sure he would, because I think we were top of the league now, 12 points clear. Klopp was still the manager. I think he'd have a much more difficult choice to make. But I think he probably would, because I think ambition and money will probably win the day.
Okay, what about you, Dino?
Yeah, 100%. I think he would still be going, because I think one thing about Klopp, because he was a professional footballer himself, he's always said he'd never stand in the way of players wanting to leave. And I think he'd probably see it from a footballer's point of view, and the ambition side and all that. And yeah, I think he would. Yeah.
Well, I don't think he would, to be honest. I think he'd stay at the club. And Klopp would say, "You've always wanted to be Liverpool captain, and you will be. You will be Liverpool captain." And remember what he said to Coutinho, a statue will be built for you. And just imagine him saying this, hypothetically, saying to him, you've got a moral there. That moral will change into a statue for you, because you came through from a 6-year-old right through till now. One of the greatest players to play for Liverpool in a red shirt. That's what I think he'd say to me.
And that's the romantic side of you, Frank, coming out there.
What?
The romantic side. That's the real Liverpool fan romantic side coming out.
Yeah, of course.
I agree with everything you said, but hard reality is that in today's professional game, I think a lot of other influences come to bear on the player. Agents, money, lifestyle.
Well, do you know why I look at, George? I'll tell you who I look at. And we go back a long time. I look at the likes of Roger Hunt, Ian St. John. I look at them all, even right up to Ian Kelly. You know, I look at Stevie Gerrard. I look at the likes of Jamie Carragher. I look at all these lads. Steven Gerrard could have been, as Zidane said, he was the greatest midfielder of his generation.
Yeah.
And I would have loved him to. I would have loved to have played alongside him with Real Madrid. He was a scouser through and through. What I'm saying is, those people who have mentioned besides other people, Billy Little. You know, Billy Little playing in the second division and playing for there was only 2 world sides, if you know what I mean.
The rest of the world, yeah.
The rest of the world. And he was picked twice. Billy Little stayed with us until the end. So, to me, you know, you can go to Stephen, he could have made millions himself. He could have gone to Chelsea and just said, I've had enough of you. I've gone to Chelsea, got a massive signing on fair, or massive wages, what Abramovich was giving out. He could have easily trebled, quadrupled his money now, if you know what I mean. That's the way I look at it.
Would you remember, Frank, he was put under tremendous pressure by people in Liverpool at that time as well.
Yeah. Oh,
there was a lot of pressure from the underworld and all sorts of things on Stevie there.
Burning his bloody shirt and everything they were outside the cup. Well, a couple of dibbies were, but I'll never forget. And, you know, to me, loyalty is with the club who made you into what you are. And that's what I said at the beginning. When you seen him crying, when his mentor left, that's why I think he would have stayed if Klopp would be manager. I really believe that.
See, Frank,
because he's leaving because he's gone, to be honest.
I took Trent's reaction last season was that, you know, it looked to me like he'd already thought he'd played his last game for Liverpool. The way he was reacting to me, he looked like he was off. And a lot round by me in the ground, you know, everyone was saying the same thing. It looks like Trent's off. Walking out the ground, talking to me mate, and he was like the same, you know what I mean? Did you see Trent there, you know what I mean? I think he's going. And obviously we've had an extra year. Maybe he wanted to go last year, and maybe Jürgen said stick it out. You know what I mean?
That was a pivotal point for him. That when Klopp left, it's a bit like maybe Shankly. I still live in Shankly's shadow now. I still live his dream now. 60 years later, Trent will always think of Klopp as his mentor. Trent will he'll always refer to Klopp, things he learned from Klopp. And when he's my age, he'll still look back on Klopp. I'm not so sure he'll look back on Slot.
And in about another 10 years, Trent will be coming on Frank's show.
No, Frank's talking about like Ian St. John and Roger Hunt and these boys I played with, you know, all my old pals. Now, you know, I can't imagine, we've got a big deal coming up in Reds on the 1st of May. And, you know, on that event, they're going to be remembering the Cup final of 65. And one of the players that played will be there. You know, I can't imagine this going on 60 years from now. That romance is not there anymore now because the money will be gone. They won't just not be there. And, you know, these emotional events are fantastic. You know, it gets to people's hearts. Right. You know, in Liverpool's a fathers and son game. You go with your dad and he takes you, then your granddad. Like my history, I used to take my son, he was 7, to take him to watch Keegan. And after about 10, 15 years, he started taking me. And now they go without me. So, you know, that's the way it goes. You know, it's what they call the circle of life. You know, you live in your father's shadow and then, you know, it's very sad, you know, but then it goes on that you realise how lucky you've been and how lucky all of us have been to support this club.
I mean, you know what, the same for me, you know, went with my dad and my brother and that, you know, now I take my lads, you know what I mean, and it's there's nothing better, you know, like when you see, when I see like Jack have the same reaction and emotions that, you know, that I go through and all that, and, you know, looking at it, you know, it's like a really proud moment. And like I was, you know what, one of the proudest moments I've ever had with him at the football, right, was at the cup final, you know, and I could see how hurt and upset he was, but he was magnanimous in defeat, you know what I mean, and he was like, he was saying he knows it's all right to lose a final when the other team deserves it and being better. There was no bitterness, no animosity towards Newcastle. And I thought, you know what, that was great because he gets it.
Yes, and a lot of Liverpool fans did get it. Most of us did approve of that they were the better team in the day.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Newcastle fans have been saying the same thing online, how brilliant the Liverpool fans were in recognising the fact that on that particular day, you know, we weren't the better team, and that can happen.
Even Stevie Wonder would have been able to know that we weren't the better team.
you would have done.
You see, it's you know, listen, lads, I'm coming to the end of it now, and it's been super. It really is. I'm sorry for all my glicks, you know, at the beginning of the stupid thing.
No, Dino and I are all right. We can manage.
Yeah, it's just been great tonight, but I won't be doing another one until next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday before the big one.
The big one.
Yeah.
I've no idea what that show's going to be about.
It won't be about Wembley, that's for sure.
It definitely won't be about Trent either. You know, it definitely won't be about him. And I just want to say a big thank you to the lads who's been commenting, been brilliant. Thank you so much for joining, George there, Dino, and Brian.
Nice to hear Brian as well. Nice to hear Brian.
Brian, is there any chance of you coming on next Tuesday?
I could come on next Tuesday. Yeah. What's happening then?
Well, the next day is the Everton game.
Everton. Yes. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Everton. Yes.
I know. Yeah, and I'm only here joking. You know that.
The blue shite.
Yes.
It's over there in sunny America, lying on a beach somewhere or sitting in a car.
It's not so sunny here now, I should say. It's at
it's lovely over here
it's
today.
Northwest. Oh, is it? Oh, must be nice. Send some sun this
So
week.
anyway, it's just for me to say, Brian, thank you so much for you know, joining us tonight. Yeah, let's see.
Nice interacting with you, Brian.
Yeah, let's see. One last comment I've just got on to.
Thank you, Dino.
And it's to all of us. Frank and the panel, with both full-backs needing signing a new centre-back to replace Matip and a centre mid to replace Fabinho and potentially someone improve the forward line. Are you worried?
Bit out of date though.
I think we're all worried, to be honest. It's not a matter of, like, as I said, about sleut or slot, whatever way you want to call him. It's not about him, really. It's about Mr. Hughes, Mr. Ward, and Mr. Edwards, who they bring in. And they've been brought in for a specific reason, to save money for Mr. Henry, Mr. John Henry. Believe that. Believe it. Please believe it. And that's it. Is that okay? Listen, boys and girls, thank you so much. And Edward says, is the history show tomorrow? Yes, it's a good one tomorrow. I've got my history show. I've got my current affairs as well on Friday. I've got my Saturday morning. I should have seen it the other day. Saturday morning film show. I blew up, you know. And I had to apologise. I just blew up and left the show.
Did you lose it?
Yeah, I lost it completely.
It's not like you, Frank.
No, it's not like Frank.
It's not like you, that Frank.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a great, you know, an email off lovely Edward there. He said, what the FNL happened to you? I said, I don't know. Some had a mental breakdown. This is the film show. TV show.
Oh, yeah. It really got to you, that bloody Wembley, didn't it? Hey, Dino, don't forget, are you coming in the Reds? Are you coming in the 1st of May? Try and get there, mate.
I'm open to, yeah. Are you going to be there?
Of course I'll be there, yeah. I'll be one of the main guys, yeah. Howard Gale's going to be there, and John Aldridge and Davy Fairclough, and 6 of the original Shankly boys have played to be Bill. and he's still alive. You know, the ones even they weren't in the team, they weren't in the final bit. They were at the club at the time, so it could be a hell of a night.
I'm going to try and get there, George. I'm going to take my father-in-law, and I don't. When my lad be allowed to go, he's only 16. Like.
Yeah. You get the tickets through Red All Over the Land. It's online.
Okie doke.
Red All Over the Land. You know,
Darcy and Lottie, they'll be able to go as well because they're good fans of the show.
Yeah, well, it'll be a fantastic night. A huge night. It'll be packed. You sell out. There's a lot of things happening there. They've got film of the final. We're even having a meal which replicates the meal that we were given after the game in the Grosvenor House Hotel. And it's 20 quid a ticket, you know, and it'll be as much, you know, it's a lovely place. Fabulous venue.
Sound. Look forward to it.
I'll send you details, Dino. I'll send you details.
Yeah, sound. Nice one, George. Thanks, mate.
Frank knows about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know. I was looking while you were talking for the poster, and it's not there, you know, to put up about.
Don't worry. I've got a meeting actually. I've got a meeting on Friday. We're going to be discussing it on Friday, finalising everything. It'll be a great night.
It will be a great night.
60 years since that final. Yeah. It was the first time we ever won the cup against Leeds United.
It's the same dinner, isn't it? But what everyone's getting is what the players got. And
it's being made by an international chef, Kitchen, his name is.
What was it?
I can't remember. I've got the actual thing in me. I've got it here.
It's a pity you couldn't get over, Brian.
Oh, for the match? Oh, I'd love to.
For the dinner. That would have been great. Brian's every time for years. Brian's always on a bloody plane. Yeah, there it is.
That was on the table in the Grosvenor House Hotel after the match in the evening, and inside it's got. I'll show you the menu. Yeah, you might be able to read that. I'll read it to you. Lemelon Grace, fillet of sole, supreme of Maryland duck. I can't read it. It's all in French.
So you don't know what you're eating anyway.
Toasted Her Majesty the Queen, and at the back.
That looks great, that though. The menu's fantastic.
That's the team there. And there's Ian St. John's signature.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
You know the Saint, Frank. I can't get it on it. Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Brilliant.
St. John. And I was just about to get Roger's signature. The two goal scorers sadly passed away about a month before I was due to see him.
Oh.
That's
a great night.
Yeah, the Anfield, great show, Frank and panel. And Christopher, nice Frank and everyone on the Reds. Thank you. That's lovely. That. So listen, Brian, thank you so much, and I'll see you next Tuesday, hopefully.
Okay.
Dino, thanks, mate.
Pleasure as always, mate. Thank you.
And I'll see you next Tuesday. And George.
Next Tuesday. My cocoa's not ready, Frank.
What?
My cocoa's not ready.
No.
He wants to go longer.
No, I don't.
No, Dino. No, but honestly.
See you next Tuesday, Frank.
See you next Tuesday, boys.
Bye, Brian.
See you later,
Bye, George.
Up the Reds.
Thank you.
Up the Reds.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, all you wonderful show. Yeah, and you know what? This lad here. Rest in peace, George Foreman.
Right. Great
fighter. I always remember him. He just fought Ali, the Rumble in the Jungle.
Mm.
And I always remember Ali saying this, in the fight, he said he didn't want to come out. He didn't want to come out. And Angelo Dundee said, get out there. He said, get out. He didn't want to come out one of the rounds. I think it was the 5th round or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, at Orly Airport, I always remember what George Foreman said. And his prophecy came through. He said, I was hot. He said, I couldn't breathe. I just couldn't breathe there. He said, but I'll tell you one thing, Ali won't give me a return. And he was right. Because Ali, if there was one fighter he was afraid of, it was Big George Foreman. He was great, George, and he's still the oldest boxer to not retain, but get back a title at the age. I think he was 46 or something like that, or 48. Incredible athlete, and such a nice man. Such a nice man. So, Steve, you never walk alone. Made up, you said that. Made up about George Foreman. And just for me now to say, Dino, Brian, thank you so much, mate.
Nice one, mate. Up the Reds.
Up the Reds.
Cheers.